The emergency room smelled like antiseptic and fear. Zara Mitchell pressed her palm against her abdomen, the cramping finally subsiding as the Ford drip worked its magic. Dehydration, the doctor had said, stress-induced. She'd been working double shifts at the hospice center for 3 weeks straight, sleeping 4 hours a night, surviving on coffee and whatever patients' families brought to share. Her phone buzzed. Another text from her landlord. She didn't open it. "Ms. Mitchell?" A nurse poked her head through the curtain. "Your brother is here." Zara's chest tightened. "I don't have a brother." The nurse's smile faltered. He said. A man stepped past her. Zara had never seen him before. Mid-30s, Korean. Expensive suit that probably cost more than her car. His face was beautiful in a way that felt dangerous. Sharp cheekbones, dark eyes that assessed her like she was a balance sheet. "Leave us," he said to the nurse. The nurse left. Zara reached for the call button. His hand caught her wrist before she pressed it. Not rough. Firm. Final. "Your brother Marcus killed someone, and here are the pictures caught in a CCTV camera. $300,000, he said. His English was perfect, barely accented. "Or we expose him." Welcome back to another episode on Forbidden Soul. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button. The world tilted. Marcus didn't. It was self-defense. It didn't look like self-defense from the angle I'm seeing it. "You have 1 week to produce the money." He released her wrist, smoothing his tie. He disappeared 3 days ago. Zara's mouth went dry. "I'm not responsible for his crimes." "Legally?" "No." The man reached into his jacket, pulled out a folder, and set it on her lap. "Practically, you helped him escape." She opened it with shaking hands. Photographs of her helping Marcus escape, booking flight tickets for him. Marcus getting into a car with luggage, looking over his shoulder like a hunted animal. "This is fraud," she whispered. "Yes." "I'll go to the police." "You could." He tilted his head. "But it will suggest you don't, because you'll be held as an accomplice. And your brother will be looking at a lifetime imprisonment. If you make this public, those people whose son he killed will surely know who the killer is and come for you, so you don't have a choice but to pay up. They're less civilized than we are." The Ford drip continued its steady rhythm. Zara looked up at him. "What do you want?" "My employer wants to meet you." He checked his watch. "Tonight, I'm in a hospital. You're being discharged in 20 minutes. I checked. Of course he did. "And if I refuse?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. "You're an intelligent woman, Ms. Mitchell. You know the answer." The car was a black Mercedes with tinted windows and leather seats that probably cost more than her student loans. The man who'd visited her hospital room, he'd introduced himself as Jae-hyuk, no last name, sat across from her in silence as they drove through downtown Chicago's rain-slicked streets. Zara watched the city blur past. She'd grown up here, knew every neighborhood, every shortcut. The car turned onto Lakeshore Drive, heading north toward the wealthy suburbs where she'd only ever gone for work. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Mr. Yoon's residence." "Is that your employer?" "Yes." "What does he do?" Jae-hyuk's expression didn't change. "Import and export." "Right. Import and export of illegal things. Clearly." They passed through a guarded gate, drove up a tree-lined driveway that went on for half a mile. The house, mansion, rose from manicured grounds like something from an architecture magazine. Modern lines, floor-to-ceiling windows, money that didn't need to announce itself. Zara had cared for dying millionaires. She'd seen wealth. This was different. This was power. Jae-hyuk opened her door. "Follow me." Inside, the floors were white marble. Abstract art covered the walls. Originals, she was sure. A curved staircase led to a second floor. Everything was pristine, cold, perfect. A man descended the stairs. Zara's breath caught. He was younger than she'd expected. Early 30s, maybe. Tall for a Korean man, dressed in black slacks and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows. His face was almost cruelly beautiful. Defined jaw, full lips, eyes so dark they looked black. His hair was styled back, still slightly damp like he'd recently showered. He looked at her the way a jeweler might examine a stone, assessing value. "Ms. Mitchell." His voice was deep controlled. I'm Yoon Min Suk. She didn't offer her hand. You're the one blackmailing my brother. Your brother killed someone. He reached the bottom of the stairs, moving with the kind of grace that came from martial arts training or dance. No! He gestured toward a sitting room off the foyer. But you'll see there's evidence everywhere. Marcus was very thorough. The sitting room had a fireplace, cream-colored sofas, a bar cart with crystal decanters. Zara sat because her legs felt unsteady. Min Suk remained standing, pouring 2 glasses of whiskey without asking if she wanted any. He handed her one. She didn't drink it. I can't pay you, she said. I make $40,000 a year. I have student loans, rent, my mother's medical bills from before she died. Even if I wanted to pay you, it would take me 20 years. I know. He sat across from her, legs crossed, whiskey glass balanced on his knee. I've reviewed your finances. Of course he had. Then why am I here? Min Suk took a slow sip of his drink. Because I'm offering you an alternative arrangement. The way he said arrangement made her skin prickle. I don't. Marry me. The words hung in the air like smoke. Zara laughed. It came out sharp, disbelieving. Excuse me? A legal marriage. You'll live here, appear at required functions, and fulfill certain expectations. His gaze dropped to her left hand, bare of rings. In exchange, your brother's evidence will be erased. You'll receive a monthly allowance. Your student loans will be paid off, and you'll have access to resources you've never imagined. You're insane. I'm practical. He set his glass down. I need a wife for business purposes. My father's associates are traditional. They don't trust unmarried men in positions of power. They see it as unstable. Then marry someone Korean, someone from your world. I've considered 23 potential candidates. His tone didn't change. All of them come with political complications. Family alliances I don't want to make. Expectations I won't fulfill. You, Ms. Mitchell, are uncomplicated. I'm black. I'm aware. Your traditional associates won't. My associates will accept what I tell them to accept. He leaned forward slightly. You're beautiful, educated, and you have no connections to my world. You're not a liability. You're a solution. Zara stood. I'm leaving. Sit down. The command in his voice made her freeze. Not because it was loud. He'd barely raised his tone, but there was something in it that bypassed her rational mind and went straight to some primal instinct that recognized a predator. She sat. You have 3 choices, Min Suk said. 1. Refuse my offer, leave here tonight, and deal with the consequences of your brother's actions. The people whose son he killed will come after you and him. They will come for you within a week. You'll lose your apartment, your job, possibly your life. Her hands were shaking. 2. Go to the police. Report the blackmail. Spend months in legal battles while those same dangerous people decide you're too much trouble. Same outcome, longer timeline. He stood, buttoning his suit jacket with methodical precision. 3. Marry me. Your evidence disappears. You live in safety and comfort. And after 3 years, if you still want to leave, I'll grant you a divorce with settlement that ensures you never have to work again. 3 years, she whispered. An acceptable timeline for my purposes. What purposes? Consolidating power, eliminating threats, producing an heir. The last part hit her like cold water. A child. Eventually, he walked to the window, gazing out at the manicured grounds. Not immediately. When the time is appropriate. Zara's mind raced. 3 years. An heir. Marriage to a man who talked about her like she was a business acquisition. I need time to think. You have until midnight. He checked his watch. 3 hours. That's not. Sufficient time to make a rational decision, yes. He turned back to her, and for the first time, she saw something flicker in his expression. Not quite emotion. More like interest. You're in an impossible situation, Ms. Mitchell. I'm offering you the only escape that doesn't end with you destroyed. Most people would have accepted already. I'm not most people. His lips curved. Not quite a smile. I know. That's why you're here. Jae-hyuk drove her back to her apartment. Zara sat in silence, watching the city lights blur through the rain-streaked windows. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Asterisk, your brother contacted his girlfriend 2 hours ago. He's in Mexico. He's not coming back. Asterisk. No signature. But she knew who'd sent it. Her apartment looked smaller than usual. Shabbier. The leak in the bathroom ceiling had spread. Her neighbor's music thumped through the thin walls. Bills covered her kitchen counter like accusatory confetti. She poured herself water, hands still shaking. 3 years. Safety. Freedom from her brother's actions. All she had to do was marry a criminal and bear his child. Zara laughed, but it sounded like crying. Her phone rang at 11:47 p.m. She answered. Have you decided? Min Suk's voice, calm as still water. If I say yes, she steadied her breathing. I want conditions. Name them. I keep working. My job, my identity. I'm not a decoration. Acceptable until you're pregnant. She closed her eyes. I want my own money. Separate from your allowance. In my name. I'll set up an account tomorrow. And I want the right to say no. To what specifically, he asked. To sex. To public appearances. To anything that makes me uncomfortable. No. Her breath caught. You'll have the right to express discomfort. Min Suk continued. And I'll consider it. But this is a partnership, Ms. Mitchell. You don't get to refuse your role. Then this isn't a partnership. It's ownership. Call what you like. His tone didn't change. But those are the terms. You'll fulfill your obligations as my wife. I'll ensure your safety and prosperity. We'll both compromise when necessary. But you don't have veto power over this arrangement. Zara looked at her reflection in the dark window. A tired woman in scrubs, facing an impossible choice. I need one more thing, she said. What? If I do this, if I marry you and play this role, you never lie to me. You never pretend this is something it's not. You don't gaslight me or manipulate me into thinking I chose this freely. Another pause. Agreed, he said finally. Honesty, even when it's cruel. Especially when it's cruel. Then we have a deal? She thought of Marcus, of the mother who died, believing her children would take care of each other, of the patients she held while they died, whispering that it was okay, that they'd live good lives. What was a good life worth? Yes, she whispered. I'll send a car at 9 a.m. Bring anything you can't live without. Everything else will be provided. He hung up. Zara sat in the dark, watching the city she'd always known glitter beyond her window, and wondered if she'd just save herself or sold herself. In the end, she decided it didn't matter. Both could be true. The wedding happened in a lawyer's office. No flowers. No guests. Just Zara in a dress she bought that morning. Simple, black, professional. And Min Suk in another perfectly tailored suit. 2 witnesses pulled from a security detail. A judge who clearly owed someone a favor. I do, Zara said when prompted. Min Suk's I do sounded like a business transaction closing. The judge pronounced them married. Min Suk slid a ring onto her finger, platinum band with diamonds so large it felt obscene. She hadn't gotten him anything. He didn't seem to expect it. Congratulations, the judge said, like he was commenting on the weather. In the car afterward, Zara stared at the ring. It caught the light, throwing rainbows across her lap. It was my grandmother's, Min Suk said. She was the only person in my family who married for love. She died badly because of it. Zara looked at him. Is that a warning? They drove in silence. The house, her house now, technically, had been prepared for her arrival. The staff lined up in the foyer like she was royalty. A housekeeper, 2 cooks, a groundskeeper, and several men whose job titles weren't mentioned but whose job description was clearly security. Mrs. Yoon, the housekeeper said, bowing slightly. Welcome, Mrs. Yoon. The name felt like a costume. Min Suk touched her lower back, guiding her toward the stairs. Your belongings have been moved to the master bedroom. If anything is unsuitable, inform Mrs. Chan. He nodded toward the housekeeper. She'll handle it. Where will you sleep? Zara asked. The master bedroom. Of course. The bedroom was massive. King-size bed, sitting area, balcony overlooking the grounds. Her pathetic collection of possessions looked lost in the enormous walk-in closet. 3 pairs of scrubs, jeans, a few shirts, 1 nice dress for funerals. The rest of the closet was full. Designer labels, dresses, suits, casual wear, shoes, accessories. Everything in her size. How did you? She started. I'm thorough. Min-suk shrugged off his jacket, draping it over a chair. There's a gala Friday night. You'll wear the burgundy gown, 2nd rack. Jewelry will be provided. I didn't agree to. You agreed to appear at required functions. He loosened his tie, meeting her eyes in the mirror. This is required. Zara's jaw tightened. What kind of gala? Charity. Hospital fundraiser. My father's associates will be there. He paused. They'll want to meet you, to judge me, to assess whether I made a mistake. At least he was honest. Min-suk crossed to a door she'd assumed was a bathroom. It opened to reveal an office, dark wood, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a desk with 3 monitors. I work late, he said. I won't disturb you, but I will be sharing this space. Romantic, she muttered. He almost smiled. I never promised romance, Ms. Mitchell. It's Mrs. You now. Not in private. He turned back to her. In public, you're my wife. You'll act the part. Here, you're Zara. And I'm Min-suk. We're clear on what this is. She should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt hollow. The first week was adjustment. Zara kept working at the hospice, though the commute now involved a driver and security detail that waited outside like ominous sculptures. Her co-workers noticed the ring, the car, the exhaustion she tried to hide. New boyfriend. Lisa, her favorite nurse, asked. Husband, Zara corrected. Lisa's eyes went wide. When did you? Recently. It was fast. That was all she could say. Min-suk had been clear. No details about his business, his family, his world. She was his wife. That was the story. At home. Because it was home now, whether she wanted it or not. Min-suk was polite, distant, and utterly in control. He worked until past midnight most nights. Sometimes she heard him on phone calls in Korean, his voice dropping into tones that made her skin prickle. Dangerous tones. They ate dinner together when their schedules aligned. Conversations were minimal. How was work? He'd ask. Fine. Yours. Productive. Silence. But he noticed things. When she came home with a headache, aspirin appeared on her nightstand. When she mentioned liking a specific tea, the kitchen was stocked with it. When her car broke down, her old, dying sedan she refused to give up, a new one appeared in the garage with her name on the registration. I didn't ask for this, she told him. You're my wife, he replied. You'll have appropriate transportation. It's a BMW. It's safe. She wanted to argue, but the old car had left her stranded twice in bad neighborhoods. So she drove the BMW, and hated that it felt good. Friday arrived too quickly. Zara stood in front of the bedroom mirror, staring at a stranger. The burgundy gown fit perfectly, off-shoulder, elegant, expensive in a way that didn't scream but whispered. Mrs. Chun had sent up a stylist who'd done her hair in soft curls, makeup subtle but flawless. She looked like she belonged in Min-suk's world. The door opened. Min-suk entered, adjusting his cufflinks. He stopped when he saw her. For 3 seconds, he just looked. Acceptable? She asked, hating the uncertainty in her voice. You'll do. His tone was neutral, but something flickered in his eyes. Jewelry. He pulled a velvet box from his pocket, opened it. A diamond necklace that probably cost more than her annual salary. Zara turned her back to him. He fastened it around her neck, his fingers brushing her skin. She felt his breath, warm against her shoulder. Remember, he said quietly, you're nervous but composed. You defer to me in business discussions. You smile. You don't drink more than 2 glasses of wine. And you don't leave my side. I'm not a child. No. His hands settled on her shoulders, firm. You're my wife, which means you're a target. Stay close. In the car, he briefed her on names, faces who mattered and who was dangerous. Avoid Mr. Choi, he said. He'll try to corner you, ask personal questions. Be polite but vague. Why? Because he's looking for leverage against me. And you, unfortunately, are leverage. The gala was held at the Art Institute, the grand staircase draped in white roses and fairy lights. Guests glittered like dangerous jewels. Old money, new money, criminal money, all mixing in champagne-soaked civility. Min Suk's hands settled at the small of her back as they entered. People stared. Of course they did. A black woman on the arm of Yoon Min Suk. An anomaly, a scandal, a statement. Mr. Yoon. An older Korean man approached, his smile sharp as a knife. I was beginning to think the rumors were false. Mr. Choi. Min Suk's expression didn't change. May I introduce my wife, Zara? Zara extended her hand. Mr. Choi took it, his grip lingering too long. Enchanting, he said. Tell me, Mrs. Yoon, how did you and Min Suk meet? Through mutual acquaintances, she said smoothly. Min Suk had coached her on this. It was quite sudden. Love often is. Mr. Choi's eyes glittered. Though I'm surprised Min Suk made time for romance. He's usually so focused on business. People change, Min Suk said. His tone was pleasant. His eyes were not. If you'll excuse us. They moved through the crowd. More introductions. More assessing gazes. A woman in a white gown, beautiful Korean, dripping in emeralds, watched them from across the room with barely concealed fury. Who is that? Zara asked. Lee Seo-yeon, my father's choice for my wife. Min Suk's hand tightened on her waist. Ignore her. Seo-yeon didn't look like she could be ignored. Later, while Min Suk was cornered in a conversation about shipping routes or money laundering, Zara wasn't sure. Seo-yeon approached. Mrs. Yoon. Her English was perfect, accent barely noticeable. You're even prettier than the photographs. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying your arrangement. Seo-yeon's smile was poisonous. Min Suk is very good at acquiring things he wants. Less good at keeping them. Zara met her gaze. I'm not a thing. No. Seo-yeon tilted her head. Then what are you? Love? Please. Min Suk doesn't love. He calculates. And you, my dear, are a calculation that doesn't add up. So-yeon. Min Suk materialized beside Zara, his presence suddenly overwhelming. His hand slid around her waist, possessive and absolute. Shouldn't you be networking? His tone was ice. I'm sure there are other disappointed women here who'd appreciate your company. Seo-yeon's smile never wavered, but fury flashed in her eyes. Of course. Congratulations on your marriage, Min Suk. I'm sure it will be very educational. She walked away, her gown trailing like blood across the marble floor. Zara exhaled slowly. You handle that well, Min Suk said. I didn't handle anything. You intervened. Because she's dangerous. He turned her to face him, his hands on her arms. Seo-yeon is the daughter of one of my father's rivals. She wants power, and she thought I was her path to it. You've humiliated her. I didn't do anything. You exist. His gaze was intense, unreadable. That's enough. The rest of the evening blurred. Champagne, small talk, Min Suk's hand never leaving her body. Her waist, her back, her hand. Claiming her in subtle ways that everyone noticed. In the car afterward, Zara kicked off her heels. You performed well, Min Suk said. I'm not a performer. Tonight you were. She looked at him. Really looked. His face was composed, perfect, revealing nothing. But there was tension in his jaw, his shoulders. Who were you trying to convince? She asked. Them or yourself? He didn't answer. At home, she retreated to the bathroom, washing off the makeup, the pretense, the feeling of being displayed like a trophy. When she emerged, Min Suk was in the office, silhouetted against the blue glow of his monitors. Zara climbed into bed, exhausted. She didn't hear him come to bed later. But when she woke briefly in the night, she felt the weight of him beside her, the heat of another body in the vast space, and his arm was around her waist. possessive, even in sleep. 2 months into the marriage, Zara found the surveillance footage. She wasn't snooping, not intentionally. Min Suk had asked her to grab a file from his office desk while he was in a meeting, something about insurance documents she needed to sign. The file was buried under other papers. That's when she saw the tablet. Screen still lit. Security camera feeds. The house. The grounds. Her hospice. Her finger hovered over the screen. She should walk away. She knew she should. She tapped the hospice feed instead. The footage was from 3 months ago, before the wedding, before any of this. And there was Min Suk in the parking lot, watching her leave work, alone, sitting in a black sedan, his expression thoughtful as she'd walked her dying car, exhausted from a double shift. Zara's hands went cold. She scrolled back. More footage. Different days. Min Suk or his men, always watching. Always there. Weeks before Marcus had disappeared. Weeks before the killing had happened. Her mind raced, pieces clicking into place with sickening clarity. The door opened. Min Suk entered, stopped when he saw her holding the tablet. "Zara, how long were you watching me?" Her voice was steady. Too steady. He closed the door carefully. 2 months before we married. Before Marcus disappeared. "Yes." "Before the killing happened." "Yes." She set the tablet down before she threw it. "Why?" Min Suk's expression was unreadable. "Because I needed to be sure." "Sure of what?" "That you were suitable." The word hit her like a slap. "You chose me. Before any of this. Before Marcus." She stopped. "Was the evidence you showed me about my brother real?" Silence. "Min Suk." Her voice dropped. "Yes." He moved closer. But the people whose son he killed were already closing in on him. "I made it urgent." Zara's breath stopped. "You manipulated." "I created an opportunity." His tone didn't change. "You used me." "I married you." "You trapped me." Her shout echoed off the expensive walls. "You watched me, studied me, engineer a crisis to force me into this." "Yes." The admission was so casual, so unbothered, it made her want to scream. "Why?" she demanded. "Why me specifically? You could have had anyone. Seo Yun wanted you. Those 23 candidates you mentioned would have been political marriages with women who understood this world, who would scheme, manipulate, try to control me through family connections." He unbuttoned his cuffs, rolling up his sleeves like they were discussing the weather. "You were outside all of that. Clean, smart, strong enough to survive this, but isolated enough to have no leverage. I was convenient. You were perfect." She wanted to hit him, wanted to run, wanted to. She couldn't do anything, because he was right. She had no leverage, no family, no power. She'd signed the papers, taken the ring, slept in his bed. "You promised honesty," she said quietly. "I never lied. You asked if I chose you. I did. You asked about the terms. I gave them. I never claimed this was random chance or fate." He stepped closer. "You wanted honesty even when it was cruel. This is cruel, but it's honest." Zara backed away. "I need space." "This is your home. This is a cage." "Yes," he agreed, "but it's a comfortable one. And the alternative." "Don't." Her hand came up. "Don't you dare tell me what the alternative was. You created the threat. You manufactured the crisis. You!" Her voice broke. She hated that it broke. Min Suk's expression shifted, something almost like regret flickering across his face. "Almost." "Zara, get out. This is my bedroom." "Then I'll leave." She grabbed her phone, headed for the door. His hand caught her wrist. "You're not leaving this house. Watch me. If you leave, you void the agreement. The evidence returns. Marcus becomes a target again, and you lose everything I've given you." She turned on him, fury overriding fear. "I don't want anything you've given me." "Liar." He pulled her closer, his grip firm but not painful. "You want the security, the money, the freedom from worry. You hate that you want it But you do. You're practical. Zara, it's one of the reasons I chose you. I hate you. I know. His thumb brushed over her pulse point. But you'll stay. Because leaving accomplishes nothing except destroying yourself. And you're too smart for that. She was crying now, angry tears that made her furious. I want my own room, she said. No, Min-suk. You're my wife. We share a bed. That's non-negotiable. You can't just... I can. He released her wrist, straightened his cuffs. You wanted honesty. Here's more. I'm not sorry I manipulated the situation. I needed a wife. I chose you, and I'll do whatever necessary to keep you exactly where you are. That's not marriage. That's ownership. Call it what you like. He turned toward his office. Dinner is at 7. We're something nice. We have guests. I'm not. You are. He paused at the door. Because that's your role. And we both know you'll play it. He left. Zara stood alone in the massive bedroom, surrounded by luxury she hadn't earned, wearing a life she hadn't chosen. And he was right. She would stay. She would play the role. Because the alternative was drowning. And she was too practical to drown. Dinner was tense. The guests, business associates from Korea, in town for negotiations, didn't seem to notice. Zara smiled, played the gracious hostess, let Min-suk's hand rest possessively on her thigh under the table. But when one of the men asked how they'd met, and Min-suk answered with a practiced story of mutual friends and immediate connection, Zara felt something cold settle in her chest. Every word was a lie. Every smile was performance. Every touch was control. After the guests left, she went straight to the bedroom. Min-suk followed 20 minutes later, loosening his tie. You did well tonight, he said. Zara didn't respond. He moved around the room in silence, his nightly routine. Shower. Change. A glass of whiskey from the decanter on his nightstand. When he climbed into bed, he reached for her. Zara flinched. Min-suk's hand froze. I'm not going to hurt you. You already did. I was honest. You asked for that. I asked for truth, not... She turned to face him. Do you feel anything? Guilt? Regret? Anything? His expression was unreadable in the dim light. I feel satisfaction that my plan worked. And I feel interest. Interest? In you. His hand found her face, thumb tracing her cheekbone. You're more resilient than I expected. Stronger. Most people would have broken by now. Give me time. His lips curved. Not quite a smile. You won't break, Zara. That's not who you are. You don't know me. I know you better than you think. His hand slid to her neck, not threatening but possessive. I know you hate waste. You won't waste this opportunity, even though it came through manipulation. I know you're too proud to be a victim. You'll find a way to claim power in this situation. And I know, his thumb pressed against her pulse, that part of you is attracted to control I offer, even as you resent it. That's not. Your heart is racing. His voice dropped, and not from fear. Zara's breath caught, because he was right. God help her. He was right. There was something intoxicating about the way he commanded space, the certainty in every word, the absolute confidence that he would get exactly what he wanted, including her. I still hate you, she whispered. I know. He leaned closer, his lips brushing her ear. But you'll stay. Because I have no choice. Because you're too smart to throw away an advantageous position over wounded pride. He pulled back slightly, meeting her eyes. We both know what this is. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But that doesn't mean it can't be productive. You're intelligent, beautiful, and you understand survival. I can use that. And you can use me. His hand slid to her waist. Equal exchange. There's nothing equal about this. Then make it equal. He challenged. Find your power here. Take what you want. I'm not your enemy. Zara, I'm your weapon. If you're smart enough to wield it, she should push him away. Instead, she found herself considering his words. Power, leverage, equal exchange. She'd been thinking of this as a cage. What if it was an arsenal? I want something, she said quietly. Name it. Information about your business, your enemies, everything you're protecting me from. If I'm a target, I deserve to know why. Min Suk studied her. That's dangerous knowledge. I'm already in danger. Knowledge gives me options. A long pause. Then, agreed, but gradually. You'll learn what you need to know when you need to know it. That's not non-negotiable. His grip tightened slightly. This world has rules, Zara. Information is currency. I'll teach you to spend it wisely, but I won't hand you ammunition to hurt yourself with. It wasn't what she wanted, but it was more than she'd had an hour ago. Fine. Anything else? She thought carefully. I want Marcus's location, and I want to know he's safe. Min Suk's expression darkened. Your brother is irrelevant. He's my brother. I know what he did. Her voice steadied. But I need to know he's alive. That's the price for my cooperation tonight. Something flickered across Min Suk's face. Respect, maybe, or calculation. He's in Playa del Carmen, he said finally, working at a resort under an assumed name. He's safe because I'm allowing him to be safe. If that changes, if he becomes a liability, I'll handle it. Handle it how? However necessary. The threat was clear. Don't hurt him, Zara said. Then give me a reason not to. Min Suk's hand cupped her face, forcing her to meet his gaze. Convince me that your loyalty is worth preserving his life. I'm here, aren't I? Playing the role, being your wife, adequately. His thumb brushed her lip, but I could find adequate anywhere. Give me exceptional. The challenge hung between them. Zara's mind raced. He wanted her complicit, wanted her to choose this actively, not just endure it, because a willing participant was more valuable than a prisoner. What does exceptional look like? She asked. Stop fighting what this is. Stop mourning the life you lost. His voice dropped to something almost intimate. Accept that you're mine. Publicly, privately, completely. And in exchange, I'll give you everything you never had. Power, protection, purpose. And my brother stays safe. As long as you're valuable to me, yes. It was a devil's bargain. But she'd already made that deal the moment she'd signed the marriage certificate. This was just negotiating the terms. Zara leaned forward slowly, deliberately, until her lips were a breath from his. Then teach me, she whispered. Teach me how to be valuable. Min Suk's eyes darkened. Dangerous thing to offer. I'm a fast learner. His hand slid into her hair, gripping firmly. If I start this, I won't be gentle. I don't do halfway. Zara, you'll be mine in every sense, or this doesn't happen. Her heart hammered. Fear and something else, something she didn't want to name. Then, don't be gentle, she said. Be honest. He kissed her. It wasn't romantic. It was claiming, his mouth on hers, demanding, possessive, leaving no room for doubt about who controlled this moment. His other hand gripped her hip, pulling her against him. Zara kissed back, pouring her anger and fear and desperate need for control into it. She bit his lip, hard enough to taste copper. Min Suk groaned, the sound dark and pleased. Good. Fight me? He pushed her back against the pillows, his body covering hers, his weight grounding and overwhelming. His hands found the hem of her sleep shirt, pulling it over her head in one fluid motion. Tell me to stop, he murmured against her throat. If you want to stop, say it now. She should. This was crossing a line that couldn't be uncrossed. But power was the only currency she had, and he was offering to teach her how to spend it. Don't stop, she breathed. His smile against her skin was sharp as a blade. Then hold on. Afterward, they lay in tangled sheets, sweat cooling on skin. Zara's body hummed. She felt claimed, marked, thoroughly possessed, and she hated that it felt like victory. Min Suk's hand traced lazy patterns on her hip. You're thinking too loud. I'm thinking that I just slept with a man who manipulated me into marriage. Yes, and that I enjoyed it. Also yes. He propped himself on one elbow, looking down at her. Does that make you weak? It makes me complicit. It makes you adaptable. His fingers traced her collarbone. You're learning to use the tools available to you. That's intelligence, not weakness. Is that what you tell yourself? That manipulation is just strategy? Strategy is manipulation with better branding. He leaned down, kissed her shoulder. Everyone manipulates, Zara. They just call it different things. Persuasion, influence, leadership. I'm just honest about what I'm doing. That doesn't make it right. Right is a luxury for people who don't have to survive. His hand settled possessively on her stomach. You and I, we survive, and then we take what we can from the wreckage. Zara turned to face him. Is that what I am? Wreckage you salvaged? No, his expression was serious. You're the foundation I'm building on. There's a difference. What are you building? An empire. He said it casually, like discussing the weather. My father controls the old networks. Traditional, Korean, insular. But the world is changing. I need connections outside that world. Legitimacy. And I need, he paused, someone who can't be corrupted by the old powers because she was never part of them. So I'm your, what? Your bridge to respectability. You're my queen. His hand cupped her face. I'm not interested in respectability. I'm interested in dominance. And you, smart, adaptable, untouchable by their standards, you're my greatest advantage. I'm not untouchable. I'm black. Your associates made that clear at the gala. Exactly. His smile was cold. They can't buy you, bribe you, or leverage you through family connections. You're outside their game. That makes you dangerous to them, which makes you invaluable to me. Zara's breath caught. You married me to destabilize your father's alliances. Partially. He brushed her hair back. I also married you because I wanted you. The strategic value was a bonus. Wanted me how? Like a possession? Like a partner who's too stubborn to break and too smart to waste. His thumb traced her lip. I don't need a fragile wife who'll shatter under pressure. I need someone who can stand beside me when the empire I'm building burns the old one down. You want a war? I want evolution. My father's generation controls through fear and tradition. I control through information and adaptation. You're part of that adaptation. Zara absorbed this. And when your father finds out you're planning to overthrow him, he already knows. Min Suk's expression didn't change. Why do you think he's been so eager to marry me off? He's trying to bind me to families that will keep me loyal. By marrying you, I declared independence. So I'm not just your wife. I'm your declaration of war. You're learning. The casual way he said it, like she was a student passing a test, made her stomach twist. What happens when your father retaliates? She asked. He's already started. Min Suk reached for his phone on the nightstand, pulled up a message. Seo Yun's father pulled out of 3 major deals this week. Mr. Choi is circulating rumors that I'm unstable. And my father called yesterday to inform me that I'm no longer welcome at family meetings until I correct my mistake. Meaning me, Zara sat up, pulling the sheet around herself. So I've made you a pariah. You've made me independent. He set the phone aside. Everything they're doing is predictable. I prepared for it, moved assets, secured alternate partnerships, ensured that their retaliation only proves I don't need them. And me? What happens when they decide I'm the weak point? Min Suk's expression hardened. Then they learn why attacking what's mine is a fatal mistake. The possessiveness in his voice should have scared her. Instead, it felt like armor. You really meant it, she said quietly, when you said I was valuable. I never say things I don't mean. He pulled her back down beside him. You're the most valuable asset I have, Zara, because you're the only one I trust not to betray me. Why? Because I have no choice. Because betray me means losing everything you've gained. You're too practical for that. His arms settled around her waist. And because he paused, something shifting in his expression. You understand what it means to be used. You won't do it to someone else unless absolutely necessary. The insight startled her. You think I'm moral. I think you have lines you won't cross without cause. That's not morality. It's self-preservation. But it makes you predictable. And I value predictability. Zara turned in his arms, studying his face in the dim light. Do you have lines you won't cross? No, not even for me? Especially not for you. His hand tightened on her hip. If protecting you requires me to cross every line I have, I'll do it, without hesitation, without regret. That's not love. I never claimed it was. Then what is it? He considered for a long moment. Ownership, obsession, investment. His thumb traced circles on her skin. Call it what you want. The result is the same. You're mine, and I protect what's mine with everything I have. It should have been terrifying. But Zara had spent her whole life unprotected, struggling, alone, being claimed by someone powerful enough to make good on the promise. That was its own kind of seduction. I'm still angry, she said, about the manipulation, the surveillance, all of it. Good. He pulled her closer. Anger makes you sharp. I need you sharp. For what? For what's coming. His lips brushed her forehead. My father won't stop at social pressure. Neither will his allies. They'll come after you directly. Soon. How soon? Days. Maybe a week. He said it calmly, like discussing dinner plans. They'll try to isolate you, turn you against me, or, if they're desperate, remove you entirely. Zara's blood went cold. Remove me? It's unlikely. Too visible, too risky. But it's possible. He met her gaze, which is why you need to be prepared. Starting tomorrow, you'll train. Train for what? Self-defense. Weapons. Situational awareness. You'll learn to recognize threats, how to evade them, and when necessary, his hand cupped her face, how to eliminate them. I'm a nurse. I save lives. And I'm ensuring you get to keep yours. His tone left no room for argument. This isn't optional. Zara, if you're going to be my wife, you'll be equipped to survive what that means. She wanted to argue, wanted to say this was insane, that she never signed up for violence. But she'd signed up for him, and violence came with the territory. Okay, she whispered. Okay. Teach me. She met his eyes. Teach me everything. Min Sook's smile was dark and pleased. That's my queen. He kissed her again, and this time it felt like a covenant. A promise written in blood and desire and desperate necessity. Zara kissed back, surrendering to the terrible truth she'd been avoiding. She was his, by choice now, not just by circumstance. And that made all the difference. Training started at 6 a.m. Zara stumbled downstairs to find the home gym transformed. Mats covered the floor. Weapons, rubber knives, training guns lined the walls. And a woman waited, lean and dangerous in athletic wear. Mrs. Yoon. The woman bowed slightly. I'm Agent Yoon. I'll be handling your physical training. Min Sook appeared behind Zara, dressed for work. Agent Yoon is former ROK Special Forces. She'll teach you hand-to-hand combat, weapons basics, and tactical awareness. Jae-hyuk will handle security protocols and threat assessment. I expect you to take this seriously. I work today, Zara protested. I called the hospice. You're on leave for 2 weeks. You can't just... I can. He kissed her forehead. The gesture casual and possessive. Focus on this. Everything else can wait. He left. Agent Yoon smiled thinly. He didn't mention, I don't go easy on beginners. Shall we start? 2 weeks of hell. Zara learned to fall without breaking bones. To strike pressure points. To use momentum against larger opponents. Agent Yoon was ruthless, patient, and utterly unsympathetic to complaints. Again, she'd say, every time Zara hit the mat. I can't. Again. Jae-hyuk's lessons were different. He taught her to map exits in every room, to identify security risks, to recognize the subtle signs of surveillance. Someone is following you, he'd say during practice scenarios. How do you know? Same car, 2 blocks. They're maintaining distance but matching my pace. Good. What do? Don't go home. Head to a public space. Call security. Better. But also, take a photo, document everything. Excellent. Min Suk watched sometimes, leaning against the doorframe with coffee, his expression unreadable. She's improving. Agent Yoon reported after week 1. She's stubborn, Min Suk corrected. But yes. At night, he'd find the bruises on Zara's arms, her ribs, her thighs. He'd trace them carefully, almost tenderly. Too much, he'd ask. I can handle it. I know you can. His lips would follow where his fingers had been. But I'm asking anyway. Those nights, he was different. Not soft. Min Suk didn't do soft, but attentive. Learning her body the way he learned everything else. Methodically, thoroughly, with complete focus. Zara found herself craving those hours. The only time the walls came down, when it was just bodies and breath and the terrible intimacy of two people learning to trust despite everything. Tell me something true, she whispered one night. About what? About you. Something you've never told anyone. Min Suk was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Then, my grandmother's death was an accident. My grandfather ordered it. She'd fallen in love with someone outside the family's control, threatened to leave, so he had her killed and made it look like a car accident. Zara's breath caught. Min Suk. I was 7. I watched my grandfather cry at her funeral. Perfect grief. Perfect performance. His hand tightened on her waist. That's when I learned that love is a weapon, and the only way to survive is to be the one wielding it. Is that what this is? She asked quietly. You wielding me? No. He turned her to face him. This is me ensuring no one can use you against me. There's a difference. What difference? If I were wielding you, I wouldn't care if you broke. His thumb brushed her cheek. I care. It wasn't a declaration of love. But for Min Suk, it might as well have been. The attack came on day 16. Zara was returned from her first day back at work. Min Suk had finally allowed it after she'd passed Agent Yoon's combat assessment. Her driver pulled up to a red light. Normal traffic. Normal afternoon. Then the passenger door opened. A man slid in, gun pressed to the driver's ribs. Drive, he said in Korean. The driver's eyes met Zara's in the mirror. She saw the calculation, the training. Then he floored it. The car surged forward. Horns blared. The gunman cursed, trying to aim while being thrown around. Zara's training kicked in. She grabbed the emergency handle Agent Yoon had shown her, pulled hard. A compartment opened, revealing a pistol. She grabbed it, chamber round muscle memory from 2 weeks of drills, and pressed it to the gunman's head. Drop it, she said in English. He turned, surprised she'd armed herself. His mistake. The driver swerved hard. The gunman's weapon discharged, blowing out the windshield. Zara's ears rang, but she kept the gun steady. I said drop it. He did. The driver was already on the phone. Rapid Korean. Backup. Location. Threat level. The gunman tried the door. Locked. Min Suk's cars had manual overrides only the driver controlled. Please, he said, switching to English. They'll kill my family if I don't. Who? Zara demanded. I don't know names. Just orders. They said bring you alive, unharmed. Said you'd be moved somewhere safe until. The driver cut him off. Enough. 2 minutes later, 3 black SUVs surrounded them. Men in suits extracted the gunman. One opened Zara's door. Mrs. Yoon, are you injured? She looked down. Her hand was shaking, but she was intact. No, we'll take you home. Mr. Yoon has been notified. Home. The word felt strange, but she nodded. Min Suk was waiting when she arrived. He didn't ask if she was okay. Didn't coddle or comfort. He pulled her into his office, checked her over with clinical efficiency, eyes, reflexes, signs of shock, then poured her whiskey. Drink. She did. The burn helped. You did well, he said. I almost killed someone. You defended yourself. There's a difference. He said they wanted me alive, unharmed. Yes. Min Suk's expression was granite. Because my father wants you as leverage, not as a corpse. He'll use you to force my compliance, then discard you once I'm back in line. So this was a warning shot. He downed his own whiskey. Clumsy. Desperate. which means he's running out of time. Time for what? To stop me from consolidating power. Min Suk turned to his monitors, pulled up financial documents. I've been systematically buying out his partners, offering better terms to his suppliers, and recruiting his best people. In 6 months, he'll be irrelevant. Unless he stops you. Unless he stops me. Min Suk's smile was cold, which is why he tried to take you. He thinks you're my weakness. Aren't I? He turned to her, his gaze intense. No, you're my strength. Because everyone who underestimates you ends up surprised when you put a gun to their head. Despite everything, Zara smiled. Agent Yoon is terrifying. Agent Yoon is exceptional. And so are you. He crossed to her, pulled her to her feet. You're not a victim anymore. Zara, you're a threat. Remember that. She looked up at him. This man who'd manipulated her into marriage, trained her for violence, and somehow made her feel more powerful than she'd ever felt caring for dying patients. What happens now? She asked. Now! His hands framed her face. Now you stop going to work. Min Suk. It's not safe. Today, prove that. You'll stay here, continue training, and he paused. Attend more public events with me. Show them you're not afraid. That taking you would require a war they're not ready to fight. So I'm bait. You're a deterrent. He kissed her, hard and possessive. And you're mine, which means anyone who touches you forfeits their life. I'll make sure they understand that. How? His smile was sharp as broken glass. By making an example of the man who tried to take you. The message was sent that night. Zara didn't see it happen. Didn't want to know the details. But the next morning, news broke of a body found in the Chicago River. Gunshot to the head. Hands bound. Tongue cut out. The signature of a Yoon family. At breakfast, Min Suk read the news without expression. Excessive, Zara said quietly. Necessary. He set the tablet aside. My father needs to understand that you're untouchable. To send that message. By killing someone. By protecting you. His tone was flat. Don't mistake what I am, Zara. I'm not a good man. I don't solve problems with words when violence is more effective, and I will drown this city in blood before I let anyone take you from me. The intensity in his voice made her pulse quicken. That's not love, she said. I've never claimed it was. He stood, buttoned his jacket. But it's absolute, and in this world, that's worth more. He left for a meeting. Zara sat alone in the beautiful house, surrounded by luxury and violence, and realized she'd stopped thinking about escape. Somewhere in the past month, she'd started thinking about conquest, about taking everything Min Suk offered and turning it into her own empire, about becoming the queen he claimed she already was. Agent Yoon found her in the gym an hour later. I heard about last night, she said. You handled it well. I was terrified. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. She tossed Zara a practice knife. Ready for advanced training? Zara caught it, felt the weight, the balance. Yes, she said, and meant it. The gala was different this time. 3 months into marriage, Zara had learned to navigate Min Suk's world. She knew which families were allies, which were threats, which could be bought. She'd attended enough events to recognize the power dynamics, the subtle hierarchies, the way respect was given or withheld with a glance. Tonight, she wore emerald green, diamonds at her throat, a gift from Min Suk after the kidnapping attempt. Her hair was swept up, makeup flawless. She looked like royalty. She felt like a weapon. Remember, Min Suk murmured as they entered the ballroom. My father will be here. Don't engage unless necessary. And if he engages me, be polite, be cold, and don't let him see fear. Yoon Sr. was across the room, holding court among the old guard. He was shorter than Min Suk, broader, with silver at his temples and eyes like ice. When he saw them, his expression didn't change. But the temperature dropped. Seo-Yun was there too, draped on the arm of some politician's son. She watched Zara with barely concealed hatred. She's persistent, Zara observed. She's desperate. Min Suk's hands settled at her waist. Her father's business is failing. She thought I'd save it. I didn't. Because of me, because he chose to make my marriage his problem. Min Suk guided her toward a group of younger businessmen, his allies. Play nice. These are the future. Zara smiled, shook hands, made polite conversation. But she was watching the room, tracking movements, identifying exits. Training had changed her. An hour in, Yoon Sr. approached. Min Suk. His Korean was sharp, formal. Introduce me to your wife properly. Min Suk's expression was a mask. Father, this is Zara. Zara bowed slightly. Agent Hoon had taught her the appropriate depth for addressing elders in Min Suk's world. Mrs. Yoon, Yoon Sr. said in English. His accent was heavier than his son's. You're causing quite a disruption. I wasn't aware marriage was disruptive. The wrong marriage is... His eyes were cold. My son could have had his choice of appropriate women. Instead, he chose rebellion. He chose a partner. Zara corrected. There's a difference. A partner implies equality. You have nothing to offer this family. I offer what Min Suk wants. That's enough. Yoon Sr.'s smile was thin. My son wants many things. Few of them last. Then I'll enjoy the time I have. Something flickered in his expression. Surprise, maybe, or respect. You're smarter than I expected, he said. That makes you more dangerous. Only to people who underestimate me. Min Suk's hand tightened on her waist. A warning or support? She wasn't sure. Yoon Sr. leaned closer. My son thinks he's building something new. He's not. He's destroying what generations built. And you, his gaze raked over her. You're the match he's using to burn it down. If the foundation was that weak, Zara said quietly, maybe it needed to burn. The older man's eyes flashed. Careful, Mrs. Yoon. Fire consumes everything, including those who start it. Then I'll make sure I'm fireproof. Yoon Sr. studied her for a long moment. Then he turned to Min Suk. She is spying. I'll grant you that. He switched back to Korean, rapid and harsh. Zara caught fragments. Foolish. Consequences. Last warning. Min Suk responded in the same language, his tone respectful but unyielding. Finally, Yoon Sr. walked away. What did he say? Zara asked. That I have 2 weeks to annul the marriage, or he'll cut me off from the family entirely. And you said? That I've been financially independent for a year, and he's welcome to try. Zara's heart pounded. Min Suk. This was always coming. He turned her to face him. I told you. Marrying you was a declaration of war. The war is here. What do we do? His smile was sharp. We win. The next 2 weeks were a blur of strategy. Min Suk worked 20-hour days, consolidating alliances, moving assets, preparing for the inevitable clash. Zara attended meetings at his side, learning to read the room, to identify who was loyal and who was waiting to betray. She also discovered she had a talent for negotiation. When a supplier wavered, unsure about breaking with Kong Sr., Zara was the one who convinced him. You're not betraying tradition, she'd said. You're investing in the future. The old guard is dying. Min Suk is what comes next. The question is whether you're dying with them or thriving with us. The supplier signed. Min Suk watched from across the room, something like pride in his expression. You're good at this, he said later. I spent years convincing dying patients to accept hospice care. This isn't that different, isn't it? Both require understanding what people really want beneath what they say they want. She looked up at him. Most people don't want tradition. They want security. Give them that, and they'll follow you anywhere. And what do you want, Zara? She considered. I want never feel powerless again. Then stay beside me. His hand cupped her face. And I'll give you power that makes gods jealous. It should have sounded like arrogance. Instead, it sounded like a promise. The final confrontation happened at a private family dinner. Min Suk had been summoned, commanded, really, to his father's estate. He refused to leave Zara behind. She's my wife. He'd told Yoon Sr. on the phone. She goes where I go. Now they sat in an ornate dining room. 20 members of the Kong family assembled like judges. Zara recognized some from events. Others were new. Cousins, uncles, the extended network of power that held the family together. Yoon Sr. sat at the head of the table. Min Suk sat at the opposite end, Zara at his right hand. The meal was tense, silent. Courses came and went. Finally, Yoon Sr. spoke. Min Suk, you were raised to understand duty, to respect the family that gave you everything. He set down his chopsticks. Yet you've chosen to disrespect us repeatedly. The marriage, the business decisions, the alliances you've made without approval. I've chosen independence, Min Suk replied calmly. Not disrespect. They're the same thing. Only to a man who demands control. The room went silent. Yoon Sr.'s expression darkened. You forget yourself. No, I remember myself. And I remember what this family cost my grandmother. Someone gasped. Min Suk, and Uncle warned. Don't. She died because she wanted to choose her own life, Min Suk continued. Because love and autonomy were threats to your control. So you killed her and pretended it was tragedy. Yoon Sr. stood slowly. You will apologize. I will not. Then you are no longer my son. I stopped being your son the moment I understood what you are. Min Suk's voice was ice. A tyrant playing at patriarch. A killer wearing the mask of tradition. You want me to annul my marriage, return to the fold, become your puppet. I want you to remember your place. My place, Min Suk stood, matching his father's intensity, is at the head of an empire you no longer control. I have your suppliers, your partners, your best people. In 6 months, you'll be a memory. A cautionary tale about men who confuse fear with loyalty. You think you can stand against me? Yoon Sr.'s hands shook with rage. I built this family, and I'm rebuilding it. Without you, the room erupted, family members shouting, taking sides, the careful hierarchy dissolving into chaos. Then Seo-yeon's voice cut through. She's pregnant. Everyone froze. Zara's blood went cold. Seo-yeon smiled, vicious and triumphant. Your wife. She's pregnant. I saw the medical records. Private clinic, 2 weeks ago. All eyes turned to Zara. Her mind raced. She'd gone for a checkup, routine, nothing special. She'd been exhausted, nauseous. The doctor had run tests, and she'd missed a follow-up call. Min Suk's hand found hers under the table. Steady, grounding. Is this true? Yoon Sr. demanded. Zara met his gaze. I don't know. You don't know if you're carrying my grandchild? I haven't confirmed it yet. It wasn't a lie. Not technically, but the damage was done. Yoon Sr.'s expression shifted. Calculation replacing rage. If she's pregnant, the marriage can't be annulled. The child would be legitimate. Heir to the Yoon name. The child is mine, Min Suk said flatly. Not the family's. A Yoon child belongs to the family. No, Min Suk's voice was absolute. Any child of mine belongs to me. And to Zara, you have no claim. I have every claim. Yoon Sr. slammed the table. That child is my blood. That child, if it exists, is my future, and you have no place in it. The finality in Min Suk's words echoed. Yoon Sr.'s face went red. Then you leave me no choice. You're disowned, effective immediately. You and your wife, and any spawn you produce. Agreed. Min Suk stood, pulling Zara with him. Enjoy your declining empire, father. I'll send flowers to the funeral. They walked out. Behind them, chaos erupted again. But Zara didn't look back. In the car, she finally breathed. Am I pregnant? She asked. Min Suk pulled out his phone, made a call. Give me Zara's medical records from Dr. Lee's clinic. Full panel. Now. He hung up. We'll know in an hour. And if I am? His hand found hers, gripping tight. Then we adjust the timeline. But nothing changes. You're mine. Any child is mine. And no one, not my father, not anyone, gets to claim what's mine. Min Suk. Are you afraid? He interrupted. She thought about it. A baby with this man. In this world of violence and power plays, an endless strategy. No, she said honestly. Terrified, maybe, but not afraid. Good. He pulled her into his lap, his arms around her like armor. Fear is temporary. Terror means you understand the stakes. And you're too smart to let terror paralyze you. What if I want this, she whispered. The baby, this life, you. Then take it. His lips brushed her temple. Take all of it. Zara, make it yours. Own it so completely that no one can take it away. The way you own me, the way we own each other. He turned her face to his. This stopped being one sided the moment you put a gun to that man's head. You chose this. Chose me. Now make it mean something. The car pulled up to their house. Their fortress. Inside, Min Suk led her to his office, pulled up the encrypted message that had just arrived. Medical records. Blood panel. Hormone levels. Zara read the results twice. I'm pregnant, she breathed. Min Suk's hand settled on her stomach, possessive and protective. How far? 6 weeks. Maybe 7. Before the dinner. Before today's chaos. His expression was unreadable. Were you going to tell me? I didn't know until 30 seconds ago. But you suspected. She had. The exhaustion. The nausea. The way her body felt different. Yes, she admitted. And I was terrified you'd think I trapped you. His laugh was short, sharp. Zara, I trapped you. Remember? I know, but nothing. He turned her to face him. This child, our child, is the future I've been building toward. An heir who belongs to us, not to my father's empire, not to tradition or politics or anyone's expectations. A child is a person, Min Suk, not a chess piece. I know. For the first time, she saw something vulnerable in his expression. My childhood was a chess game. Every move calculated. Every relationship transactional. I won't do that to my son. Or daughter. Or daughter. His hand splayed across her still flat stomach. This child will be raised with choice. With freedom. He paused. With love, if we can manage it. I don't know how to love. Zara, I know possession. Obsession. Protection. But love. He shook his head. That's your territory. She took his face in her hands. Then I'll teach you. The way you taught me to fight. To negotiate. To survive in your world. It's our world now. Our world, she agreed. Our child. Our empire. His kiss was fierce, claiming, and underneath it all, tender. When they broke apart, Min Suk's phone was ringing. He answered, listened. His expression hardened. When? A pause. How many? Another pause. Secure the perimeter. No one gets in or out. I'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up. What is it? Zara asked. My father. He's made his move. What kind of move? The kind that ends with someone dead. Min Suk was already moving, grabbing a jacket, a weapon from his safe. He's sent people to the warehouse district, the one where we store the shipments he used to control. He's trying to seize the assets, claim I stole from the family. Did you? I bought them. Legally. But legality doesn't matter if he can make a show of force. Min Suk checked the weapon, a cold efficiency to his movements. He wants a confrontation. He'll get one. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. Min Suk, you're pregnant. You're staying here where it's safe. Safe is an illusion. Zara grabbed her own jacket. Your father knows where we live. If you leave me here, I'm a sitting duck. At least with you, I have a chance. Zara, you said, I'm not a victim anymore. Prove it. Let me fight beside you. He looked at her for a long moment. Then, reluctantly, he went to the safe, pulled out a second weapon. You don't fire unless I tell you to. You stay behind me. And if I say run, you run. Understood. Understood. He handed her the gun. They left together. The warehouse district was dark, industrial, perfect for violence. Min Suk's cars pulled up to the main building. 3 stories, steel and concrete, surrounded by chain-link fence. Inside, 20 of his men waited, armed and ready. Jae-hyuk met them at the entrance. Yoon Sr. brought 30 men, their position on the west side, waiting for you to arrive. Confident, Min Suk observed. Stupid, Jae-hyuk corrected. He thinks numbers matter. Numbers always matter, but strategy matters more. Min Suk turned to his men. No one fires first. We're not giving him the excuse to call this self-defense. But if he shoots, his smile was cold, we end it. The men nodded. Zara stayed close to Min Suk as they moved through the warehouse. Agent Yoon materialized beside her, armed and focused. Stay with me, Yoon said quietly. If shooting starts, I'll cover you. I can. You're pregnant. Your job is survival, not heroics. Zara wanted to argue, but Yoon was right. They reached the west loading dock. Yoon Sr. stood in the center, surrounded by his men. Older, confident, dressed in a suit like this was a business meeting, not a war. Min Suk. His voice echoed in the empty space. You've made this harder than it needed to be. You came to my property with armed men. Min Suk stepped forward, flanked by Jae-hyuk and 2 others. I'd say you made it hard. This property belongs to the family. You stole it. I bought it, with money I earned. You have no legal claim. Legal? Yoon Sr. laughed. You think I need legality? I built this empire before you were born. Everything you have came from me. Everything I have, I took. There's a difference. Then I'll take it back. Min Suk's expression didn't change. Try. For 3 seconds, no one moved. Then Yoon Sr. gestured. His men raised their weapons. Min Suk's men did the same. 30 guns on one side, 20 on the other. Zara's heart hammered. Last chance, Kang Sr. said. Annul the marriage. Return to the family. I'll forgive this rebellion. No. Then you die here, along with your whore and the bastard she's carrying. Min Suk's expression went arctic. What did you call my wife? I called her what she is. A tool you used to humiliate me. Well, I'm done being humiliated. Yoon Sr. raised his hand, the signal to fire. Wait. Zara's voice cut through the tension. Every head turned. She stepped forward, hands raised, no weapon visible. Agent Yoon hissed a warning, but Zara ignored it. You want Min Suk back in the family, she said to Kang Sr. Why? That's not your concern. It is, if you're willing to kill him over it. She moved closer, putting herself between the 2 groups. You don't want him dead. You want him compliant. So what do you really want? Yoon Sr.'s eyes narrowed. Respect. Loyalty. The things a son owes his father. He can't owe you what you never taught him. Excuse me, you taught him power, strategy, how to be ruthless. But you never taught him loyalty because you never showed him any. Zara's voice was steady. You killed his grandmother for choosing love over duty. You tried to marry him off like a business asset. And now you're threatening him because he did exactly what you trained him to do. Take what he wants and hold it. You're proud of him, Zara continued. Underneath the anger, you're proud that he's strong enough to stand against you, because that means you raised someone worthy of inheriting your empire. He won't inherit anything if he's dead, but he'll be dead, and everything you built dies with him. She gestured to the armed men. These people, they're loyal to money, not you. The second you're gone, they scatter. But Min Suk, he's built something that lasts, something that will outlive both of you. And you think I should just accept this? I think you should recognize when you've won. Zara met his gaze. Your son is everything you wanted him to be. Powerful, intelligent, ruthless. The only thing you can't control is who he chose to build his empire with. But that's not failure. That's succession. Yoon Sr. stared at her. Then, slowly, he lowered his hand. His men lowered their weapons. You're clever, he said finally. I'll give Min Suk that. He chose well, even if he chose poorly. Then make your peace with it. Zara glanced back at Min Suk, or lose him entirely. Those are your options. The old man's jaw worked, pride warring with pragmatism. Finally, a truce, not reconciliation. I won't claim the grandchild, But I also won't oppose Min-suk's business. We operate separately. No interference. Min-suk stepped forward. And no retaliation against Zara. Or the child. Agreed. The two men stared at each other across the divide. Then Yoon Sr. turned and walked away, his men following. The warehouse emptied slowly, tension draining like blood from a wound. When they were alone, just Min-suk, Zara, and his core team, Jae-hyuk exhaled. That was insane. That was brilliant, Min-suk corrected. He turned to Zara. You just negotiated a treaty with a man who doesn't negotiate. I just told him the truth he didn't want to hear. She was shaking now, adrenaline crashing. Was I right? Is he proud of you? Probably. Min-suk pulled her into his arms. But you shouldn't have stepped into the line of fire. Someone had to. Not you. Never you. I'm your wife. Your partner. That means standing with you, even when it's terrifying. He kissed her forehead, his hands trembling slightly against her back. Don't do that again, he whispered. I can't promise that. Then promise me you'll survive. Whatever happens, whatever I have to do to keep you safe. I promise. It was a lie, but it was a lie they both needed. That night, Min-suk didn't work. They lay in bed, his hand on her stomach, feeling for movement that wouldn't come for months yet. Tell me something, Zara said. Do you regret it? Any of this? Manipulating you into marriage? Yes. No, his answer was immediate. I regret that it was necessary, but I don't regret the result. And the baby? His hand pressed gently against her skin. The baby is unexpected, but not unwanted. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement. I don't know how to be a father. His voice was quiet. My father taught me to be a weapon, to see people as assets or threats. How do I raise a child when that's all I know? You learn. She covered his hand with hers. The way I learned to fight, to negotiate, to survive in your world. You learn because the alternative is failing someone you love. I don't. You do. She turned to face him. You don't call it love. You call it possession, obsession, investment. But Min-suk, the way you protect me, the way you've built an empire partially, so our child won't grow up the way you did, that's love. You just don't recognize it. His expression was vulnerable in the darkness. What if I can't give them what they need? Then I will, and you'll learn from watching. She kissed him softly. We'll figure it out together, the way we figured out everything else. Together, he echoed. His arms tightened around her, and for the first time since they'd met, Zara felt the full weight of his trust. Not ownership, trust. And that made all the difference. 9 months later, Zara held her daughter, Mina, strong and furious and perfect. Min-suk stood at the window of the private hospital suite. Phone pressed his ear, conducting business even now, but his eyes kept drifting to the bed, to his wife and child. When he hung up, he crossed them. She's perfect, Zara said. She's loud. She's yours. Min-suk touched Mina's tiny hand. She gripped his finger with surprising strength. Something shifted in his expression. Not soft. Min-suk would never be soft, but odd. I won't fail her, he said quietly. I know. I'll give her everything. Choice, freedom, power, and love, Zara added. And love. He leaned down, kissed Zara's forehead. Thank you. For what? For teaching me what that means. Outside, the empire waited. Business, politics, the endless game of power and strategy. But inside this room, there was something simpler. A family, built on manipulation and necessity and desperate choices. But a family nonetheless. Min-suk's phone rang. He ignored it. Instead, he climbed carefully onto the bed beside Zara, one arm around her, the other supporting their daughter. I love you, he said. Simple. Final. True. Zara's breath caught. It was the first time he'd said it. I know, she whispered. I've known for a while. And I love you too, despite everything, because of everything. He smiled, rare, genuine, devastating. Then we've won, he said. Won what? Everything. His hand cupped her face. We've taken the worst possible beginning and built something worth keeping. That's victory. Mina made a small sound, already demanding attention. Zara laughed. She's definitely yours. She's ours. Min Suk looked at their daughter, this tiny perfect thing they'd made, and no one will ever use her, or control her, or make her feel powerless. No, Zara agreed. We'll make sure of it. Outside, Chicago glittered in the sunset. Inside, a queen and her king held their empire's future. And for the first time in their complicated, manipulative, utterly devoted partnership, they were both exactly where they wanted to be.